Just close to me, Mr. Boniface Gambilla, and he is a member of parliament for Namdam. And thanks for joining me, sir. All right. He's also been a former National Service Secretariat Director or Chief Executive, right? That's the most appropriate position. Okay. And now next to him is Mutawakilu Adam, and we say thanks for joining me this morning as well.
Thank you very much.
All right. He's a member of parliament for Damongo. What's your own view about the Black Stars' participation in the tournament so far?
Thank you very much. Before I start, last night wasn't good for us.
Oh.
The people of West Gonja district. We lost our presiding member, Honorable Salia Limantuma. And I want to take this platform to extend my deepest condolences to the family, and more especially his sons, Mr. Abu, who is the assistant headmaster of Ndaura Jakpa Senior High School, Mr. Saleh Abdul Mumin, who is the assistant dean of studies and research at Institute of Local Government Studies, and Mr. Kudu Saleh, he is the senior attorney at Attorney General in the Northern Region. I want to take this opportunity to extend my deepest condolences with them. I'll be there very soon to mourn with them.
Okay, so our condolences to you and your constituents as well.
Thank you very much. The Black Stars did well yesterday, and from the beginning you could see some progression in terms of performance, and it is a good sign for us. The first match wasn't that good. The second match looked good. The third one looked better. I hope the fourth one will be best. And it is good that we give them the total support and motivation so that they will be able to perform. With what they are doing, I'm quite impressed with the performance yesterday. And I believe we'll go far with that.
Yeah. I love that one. That's almost like an exciting but cautious excitement in terms of the statement. Your own view, Mr. Gambilla?
Black Stars.
You don't seem to have hope, the way you mentioned Black Stars.
No, I for the last two matches, in fact, when we lost the first match, for me the first match was good.
We played well, but we lost.
It's not about that.
Okay.
I'm talking in terms of the Black Stars learned lessons from it gave them vim that if you joke next matches, you will quit, and it will be an embarrassment. So failure was in the end. You know, so we shouldn't say they failed the first one, so it's bad. No, failure is not bad. It's a learning point, and so I think they took a vim from that one, and that pushed them to win the two matches. I actually went on a bet that Black Stars would win the two matches.
You did?
I did.
If I had betted,
I would have lost. You would have lost.
Because I would have betted that they would lose.
So a few people out there are thinking of how to pay back the bet. So I'll forgive them anyway, because it was that sort of something. But yesterday I predicted 3-1, not 2-1. So for me, they didn't do well, because my vision for 3-1
didn't come to pass.
Didn't come. Yes, they were the problem, not me. But all in all, like I said, the first match was best because they learned from it, and that one pushed them it motivated them more. And so I saw the group as a group that seems to agree that success never ends, and failure
also never
pushes you.
Okay.
So for that they've done well. Yeah. And as a member of the Youth and Sports Committee, and as a deputy ranking member, I think I'm so glad that my predictions have come well. It's the subsequent ones. I have to sleep and dream that one before I can talk.
Okay. Yeah. I pray that your prophecies are more enlightening and they all come to pass. Okay. Now let's get on to mainstream subjects and the news that was making rounds before the close of the working day on Tuesday was about Ghana signing $7 billion in a deal, or a $7 billion deal with ENI, and they're supposed to produce oil and gas at the West Cape 3 Point area. And I have to start with you, Adam.
Thank you very much. ENI has been engaging government before we close, we passed whereby they investing almost 20 billion in the Keta Basin, and this is the second one, 7 billion. And in the oil and gas industry, more important to all Ghanaians is the production of gas. About 180 million standard cubic feet of gas will be produced from 2018 for about 20 years. Why am I saying that? Because it's a source of fuel, cheap source of fuel for our thermal plants. Because we have the plants, most of them are dual. They use light crude oil and gas. Comparing the two, gas is much, much cheaper than light crude oil. That tells us that the future is very, very bright for us. Even at the Keta Basin, they will be producing gas. Yes, it's associated gas. And it is good that we have signed this deal. This will bring also some level of employment to most of the youth and help boost the economy, getting about 7 billion, even though some of them might be paid to foreigners in terms of the rakes and what have you. Most of the resources, when you come to the local content, a significant portion of the money will be invested in the local economy and help boost the economy for us. So it's a very important and good news, and the government has done very well in getting this deal signed. It is good news for us.
Well, at what point do we say this is good news, and at what point will Ghanaians be getting power? You?
Yeah, it is good to make it clear that this one do not generate power. There are two distinct projects. I saw they link it with General Electric. When we start producing the gas, that is where GNPC, Ghana Gas Company, now a subsidiary of GNPC, will come in, taking the gas to power our thermal plants. And that one too is a separate agreement. That one, they are setting a consortium with General Electric for the production of 1,200 megawatts. That is separate. These ones are into the oil and gas industry, not the power industry. So when they finish, now GNPC will enter into agreement with them to take over the gas through Ghana Gas Company. Then we get gas to power our thermal plants.
For many of the critics out there, this is interesting. Critics of government. And I know that your side, the minority, the MPP minority side of the House, have always been very critical of government, of not giving the way forward as far as improving the current energy difficulties or challenges as we have it. What do you make of this very deal yourself?
Right. You see, the oil and gas business, vis-a-vis power, it's a long-term, normally it's a long-term project. If you take Akosombo Dam, for example, in the 60s when it was built, it took a number of years. So if you want to build another Akosombo Dam, be sure that it will take you a few years. Then at the end of, say, 3-4 years, then you have power, okay? So with Bui. So that's why President Kufuor signed on to Bui. So Bui wasn't going to come in 2006, 2007. No, 2-3 years, 20 something. So that when you are going into power, prepare for that. Now, if you talk of critics or criticism, that is positive criticism. If you come out as president, then you say, oh, in the next month, power outages will be a thing of the past. Then in the next month, it becomes worse. Then you come again and say, oh, we are getting gas from Atuabo. And when that comes, these power problems will end. It shows complete ignorance. Because generation, you have, let's say you have 10 plants, okay? And the 10 plants, the total generation of the 10 plants, or let me say the total generation of Akosombo, Bui, Tigo, Tika in West Takoradi, Dabuasi, and all that, it's a fixed quantity. So when you are saying that, oh, when the gas comes, there will be an increase in power, you have to be careful with those statements. So based on that, then the criticism becomes weighty. Because if you have the same machines, plants, no matter what amount of gas you produce, it will fuel, like my colleague is saying, it's cheaper, it's affordable. So you still produce the same quantity of power, right? There will be no increase in power because you have 10 plants and the 10 plants are producing maybe say 3,000 megawatts of power. Whether you have gas, you have oil, you have whatever, those plants will still produce the same megawatts of power. So when you make a statement that, oh, when gas comes, the issue of doom will be a thing of the past, then it becomes a little bit weird. That's where the criticism comes. But for this, who doesn't want power today, tomorrow? That is proper. You should look at the future. Right. And this is
the point is that if you're a government in power, and for political parties, you have to leverage on whatever intentions and activity and projects that have been undertaken to the people. Of course, you're in competition. Do you think that the way all these stories, and we've had, i.e. General Electric, as well as even you and I, all these are being splashed on the newspapers and publicity and promotion at some level is being given to this. Yeah. Smacks of some level of an oversized communication to the public. I wouldn't say propaganda in many sense. Perhaps not trying to overblow a situation which may not be imminent in the short term.
You see, because of the situation we have come in. But for that, if you are silent on this and work is going on, nobody will talk. So it is proper for somebody now to say, oh, yes, based, like I spoke a while ago, sometimes you have to learn from certain failures. Okay? Mistakes are not bad. Failures are not bad. You learn from them. So you say that now, even looking into the future, this is what I'm doing alongside trying to solve the current problem.
So that's how the communication should be in your
Should be in my view. Yes. Currently, this is what I'm doing in the short term to solve the current problem, but I'm also looking into the future. That is why I'm signing these contracts. Okay? As to the content of the contracts, I'm not yet privy to it, so I cannot comment on that.
As a marketing communication person, Adam, I would have leverage on this, brand-wise, the activation, etc. The point is, for example, oil production actually is going to start in 2017, estimated at some 80,000 barrels. That's almost 2 years down the line, and we don't even know whether it's at the beginning of 2017 or it's going to be towards the end.
Thank you very much. Before I start, I've never heard the president say the coming on stream of Otuabo and the power crisis. No.
I don't think anybody has implied that.
That is what he just said.
He said the president
he made a promise. Yeah, when the Otuabo come, he never made that promise. If he talks about making a promise, it will end on a particular day.
Is it the government?
I've never heard anybody.
Okay.
Because we know that the gas is a type of fuel that will generate the plants. When the plant generate per the available capacity, it can have an installed capacity of say 200 megawatts, but the available capacity is what will be made available. 2, if the president says the power crisis will end soon, he did that based on certain estimation. Nobody on this earth can be perfect. And we must understand that the generation mix is not only thermal. We have thermal, we have hydro, and then we can have cold, we can have solar. Based on what we have, that is thermal and hydro, we did our estimation, the president promised, but the rainfall pattern did not meet the expectation. The president couldn't have forecast what the rainfall pattern would have been exactly. And therefore, some of these shortfalls per generation is coming from Akosombo and Bui. As at now, Akosombo, because of the water level at the reservoir, it cannot generate the optimum level that it is supposed to generate. So these are critical factors that are not determined by individuals. So he might have made a promise, but certain factors would have come in for him not to be able to achieve. And he's not the first president to have made promises. At the end of the day, it doesn't go exactly what he wanted to be. As a president, he wished that the power crisis should have ended long time ago. But we have challenges. And therefore, while tackling the challenges, we must make long-term plans, say that we are not taken aback with any crisis in terms of a fall in rainfall pattern, and therefore, as a result, we should suffer. And that's why he forecast 5,000 megawatts by 2016. And so far, the processes he has gone through, you see that he is on track. Because before we rose last this thing in Parliament, we passed 2 power purchase in power agreements. And one is Amandi and Jelku. And about 560 megawatts will be established, will be put in the next few years, because they will start with the establishment of the plant and generation. Now 1,200 megawatts will be soon added. So you could see that there is a master plan by the government to ensure that this power crisis will be over in the near future. And as for good governance, transparency and good governance, you cannot sit in your room and sign an agreement of 7 billion Ghana cedis and put it in the drawer. No. The people must know what is happening and what the president is doing for them to be able to assess. It is very, very important. Any government that tends to keep this sort of agreement in the shell as he should have just done it at a lower level. No. For the purpose of good governance and transparency, it must be. And Ghana has been rated second in Africa in terms of transparency and good governance. So it is very, very important that you know the information, what the government is doing. I know, he knows, any ordinary Ghanaian knows. In that case, we'll be able to come together and pursue a common agenda. And I think it is not bad that they make it clear to us.
But, I mean, publicity is good. And for political communication, you need to adequately also send good messages to reach the people, to leverage on whatever activity that is being undertaken by government. As far as, and in our context, Sub-Saharan Africa, development is key to many of the
but you don't send panic messages to
These are not panic messages, are they?
You see, the point I tried to raise, like he's talking to Shelby. I didn't say Shelby. You asked a question, and I said, you see, give the clear message that, yes, this is a long-term project, but I'm taking care of the present situation, okay? And I'm saying it's because of the doomsday we are in now. But for that, this could have been done normally in the ministries by the finance, and you sign. We don't. If we don't hear, we just read them. And
would you say that if we had an MPP government in power, they wouldn't have taken advantage of this and tried to also over-communicate it in many respects?
Oh, if we had an MPP government in power, doomsday wouldn't have been there. So people wouldn't have been like
according to precedents, you don't have that history.
We have
of having been in government without power cuts and load shedding.
No, we went through that, and then we took care of it straight. If you remember, when President Kufuor came on, straight away he focused in Tema, putting up some plants, some generating plants that were using diesel to solve the power problem. Don't forget, I work in VRA. I was an officer in VRA too. So plants were set up in Tema to take care of power. So if you realize, when did this power problem come up? You see? Because President Atamis had taken over.
I remember in 2006 there were severe power cuts.
Yes, so that's why I say every government has faced it. Okay? But it has been, it's so exceptional, negative this time. That is what we are saying. At any rate, the point I'm raising is, if you send a message there, the way these messages are going, I'm only making a point that, but for the doomsday, it's like people's eyes wouldn't be on this kind of publications. We just read them and know that, oh, this is what government is doing. And nobody would attach emotions to them. Okay? But if your minister of energy, who speaks for the president, the minister, The minister says Atuabo will come and Dumso will end, will be the thing of the past. The president comes, for example, and says, he has said a number of times, oh, it will end this time, it will end this time. Where does he get the information from? These are projects, and these are projects with experiences that have actual things to, in terms of performance. It's not about Akosombo would dry, those ones, the history is there. Very simply enough, you know. In VRA, we know when Akosombo would dry. Because the over years ratings and graph is there. So when it's getting to September, you know what amount of water will come in. When it's getting to March, you know what it will be. So as for the falling and rising, VRA is known. So we are saying that to plan a power activity is a performance thing. So if you don't know, don't promise the people that I'm coming to solve this problem. At any rate, you use that before 2008. Edumadundunbaja reference Honorable Haruna. You remember. So these are points. So if you use that as a campaign message, and I want to emphasize on that so the political parties will stop using water, energy as campaign tools, because you don't control certain variables. And so if you use that, today I expect the government in power today to apologize to Ghanaians. Oh, we are sorry, we use power as an agenda to win power, to win elections. So please, from today on, accept our apology, and we all go on a clear sheet. Are you getting my point?
Okay.
So that all of us will be on what place?
No, Adam, I don't want to break the conversation, though, but if you're following us on this very subject, and we're discussing energy provision in respect of the current deals that have been signed by governments, and of course this has been given a lot more prominence by the news media on the various front pages, as well as the social media pages and the social networks as well, or even on the internet pages. Please always make sure you log on to our page on Facebook at Joy News on TV. That is our handle on Twitter, and Joy News on TV, our page on Facebook. But talking about Facebook, social media has always been rife since yesterday about what the strategy is, because nobody saw this coming. And so if nobody saw this coming, it means that, well, nobody knew that ENI would be in at this time of the year, etc., and a deal will be signed and all. A lot of announcements have been made, of course, General Electric, etc. Yeah. What really have been the strategy that is being communicated to the people?
Thank you.
I know you wanted to add something to it.
Yeah, thank you very much. And he made a statement I laughed. That when they come to power, Dumso or not. So they have a solution and they cannot provide it to government. I
don't get you.
Do you get my point?
They should keep your government working for
you. No, they must provide constructive criticisms. Dumso do not discriminate. If you knew that A, B, C will solve it, put it to the public and see whether government will absorb it and consider it or not. So you don't wait and say, unless you vote for me to come to power, I know how to do it. But history has indicated that you have never performed well in energy. In fact, in 2012 election, there was no master plan of what level of energy megawatts that you want to achieve when given mandate for 4 years. It was only NDC. We stated categorically.
Megawatts.
And therefore...
That would have been achieved by
2016, and we are working towards it. So every Ghanaian
so all these are in respect of meeting the target.
We work far beyond. As a government, while achieving the short term, you set medium term, you set long term.
Is that the strategy?
Yes.
What you're saying, is that the strategy?
It's a strategy.
Because there's no strategy according to the critics.
Like,
and I'm quoting
like
from social media.
We said we will achieve 5,000 megawatts by 2016. This 2,000 megawatts will come off in 2017. The gas will be 2018. So we are not just looking like only 4 years. While planning, we plan beyond. If they knew and they could put things in place, Dumso occurred in their period twice. 2002, we had Dumso. Serious one. 2007, since 2007, we had Dumso. If they had solution after the first challenge, I thought that we shouldn't have the second one. 3, it is not that we don't have the installed capacity to generate power.
We do.
We have 2,845 megawatts.
What don't we have?
I'm coming. But due to certain challenges, like VRI said, the water level is taking some off. We have other protocol commitment that we have to do. So the problem we are solving, while solving it, we are making short-term and long-term measures. And Ghanaians know what we are going through. When it comes to ENI, these things do not take place, do not happen in a year or even 2. This thing might have started 10 years ago because they need to do a lot of analysis to be able to verify whether it is there. And it is a long-term program. Oil and gas are long-term contracts. They might be in the country until they are certain. The seismic studies and the data available indicate clearly that there is gas and oil, whether associated or non-associated gas, before the agreement is signed. So now that the agreement is signed, they are quite certain with the data that they have that they might have these things in there. Then it will come to Parliament for ratification. So it might be in for a long time. So if you go to Petroleum Commission and GNPC, they'll be able to tell you when they started doing analyzing data in respect to this field. And therefore, now they are certain, and therefore agreement has been signed. And 7 billion is not joke money for us to just limit it as if it is nothing. It is a huge investment for Ghana, and therefore very important that every Ghanaian knows about it. 2,002 megawatts coming on stream will be the largest in Ghana if it's come on. 1, because Akosobo generate 1,020 megawatts, and that's the highest single installed capacity. 1,200 coming on will be the largest by General Electric, and it is very critical. And every state, the government will make sure that Ghanaians are made known of what the government is doing to solving both the short term, the medium term, and the long term. We want to make sure that the reserve margin is significant enough to even absorb the whole of Akosombo, assuming we stop Akosombo, maybe erratic power we can't generate, and Akosombo stop. We are making sure that in the long term, even if Akosombo is taken off, the reserve margin should be enough to absorb it and let us move with sustainable power supply. And that is why the Chief Executive of General Electric said Ghana will be the hub of energy in the near future. He's not lying. He's not a politician, but he can foresee that Ghana is making strides to consolidating.
Mr. Gambila, precisely my point. Do you feel, for all that he's talked about, short, medium term, long term, is it just a rhetoric, or we have, well, a document, or perhaps something that has been duly communicated over time, that at this point in time we're going to achieve this, and these are the ways we are adopting in terms of strategy to achieve them? And that is why the critics keep saying, what really is the strategy as far as going forward is?
Okay.
Not what you are telling the people,
yeah, that's right,
necessarily.
Yeah, that's why I say performance.
So, for example,
action.
2016, the NDC doesn't retain power. What strategy is there for us to have a continuous process of, let's say, the next 20 years or 10 years, having adequate power provision and supply?
Yeah, let me tell you something.
Please do.
Since Nkrumah, there have been future plans under the energy commissions and all the energy institutions and the ministries. Did you know that after Akosombo, my village water, Palugu, was supposed to be the second to be constructed? Nippon Engineering Company of Japan had done the feasibility on Palugu River. And it was supposed to be the second after Akosombo. But that never came. Today, we are told, oh, Balogun can give 50 megawatts. But after Akosombo, Nkrumah focused on that one. There are a number of future visions on power. Look, what we call refuse power generation is available. Solar is available. Coal is available. There are other alternative sources of power. So, for example, when President Kufuor came on, at any rate, this government took over power. No Dumso. So what happened from 20?
I don't get you.
This government.
When they took over power, we didn't have a power crisis, you said.
They took power and the normal power.
When your government also took over, there was no power crisis.
There was. That is why President Kufuor put in an emergency plan, and I told you that. And I told you that. Yeah, just come on. But do you remember even before President Kufuor took over, there was power crisis under Rawlings?
It was in 98.
No, there's been a power crisis.
So let me go on. Let me go on.
Okay, please do.
So that is what President Kufuor went very fast to work, put plants at Tema. Okay? And that is why President Kufuor went fast to change those round egg bulbs. And the changing of the bulbs alone saved 250 megawatts. It saved. Not only should you bring, but also try to save. Those bulbs President Kufuor changed saved 250 megawatts. Did you know that?
But you know that the changing of the bulbs, bringing in the energy bulbs, started during the Rawlings regime. But
I'm saying that the strategy soon after Kufuor came. Why didn't he abandon it? Because he knew there was sense in it. So he took a measure and said, look, change this for free. And that alone saved 250 megawatts. So you will find that that was a leader. Then that aside, after doing the Tema and tackling Abuazi, he said, look, looking into the future, Bui should begin. And Bui, it's an old project since Nkrumah, but it never came on. So those plans are there. And so it is how you manage the system.
Mr. Gambila, for all the criticism that you raised,
yes,
and for the skepticism that perhaps you may...
No, I'm not skeptical about it.
You may be having. What gives you confidence in all these? I mean, more power, for example, on the front page of the Times. Brilliant.
This business, it will happen.
GE to produce 1,200 megawatts of power. Biggest sub-Saharan project, we're being told.
Right.
According to the caption on the front page of the Daily Graph.
I have told
what
you
gives you confidence?
I have told you that I haven't seen the content yet. The content may influence my decision. But looking at the surface of it, by governance, if you come into power, you continue with projects that previous government would have instituted. So, come January 17, 2017, January 7, 2017, when we come, we'll continue power projects. And for us, we'll take the shortest time to solve the problem. Because an example was that.
Is it when or if you come?
When.
Okay.
We are not going to IFO.
Let me tell you.
What gives you confidence?
He's talking about 20.
We don't have much time.
Let me put the statistics here now.
Okay, for all the statistics, you have, according to my time, you have 3 minutes.
Yeah. When you continuously say the former president came and put emergency plan, between 2001 and 2008, you only added 80 megawatts.
No.
Tell me what you added. I have the facts. What you added.
The retrofitting of Akosombo.
When was it commissioned?
I'm talking of retrofitting. No, I'm not talking of commissioning.
You see?
The retrofitting after Kufuor came into power moved it from 900 to 1,020.
And to you, that's commendable.
Yes. The plants at Tema. What brought and go and then what is talking is the mining reserve. That was one of the 10
I'm talking about is
within
your 8 years. Within your 8 years, what megawatts of power
I'm not talking
Adam,
about.
but that's not the point.
You see, when you
Adam,
tell me that the
Adam,
president.
Adam, but that's not the point, is it?
You see, when you tell me that the
Is it an
president.
argument of
talking of
equality?
the development
When you
history.
tell me that the president put measures quickly in 2002 after they do so and solved the energy crisis,
Yes.
and because he brought emergency power and what have you, I want to know when he brought all those things within the 8 years,
Adam,
how many
Adam,
megawatts?
There was no
I can
doom
say
saw, that
there
is
were
important.
80
Adam,
megawatts.
Adam, but truthfully,
There was no doom saw. That is the issue.
Not truthfully,
not
the
megawatt. There was
electorate
no
of
doom saw.
Ghanaians are going to have the benchmark for electing their next government based on what the adequacies and inadequacies are. And currently, there are severe power constraints that the citizenry seem to be facing.
Yeah. The citizenry, it depends on how open, transparency, and good governance is very important. If we explain to Ghanaians, excuse me, if we explain to Ghanaians as we continue to explain what brought about it, what we are doing, and what is in stock for Ghanaians, I don't think Ghanaians will just go, today I have lights for because of that thing.
Okay.
Change will not bring about change in doing so overnight.
But is it real? In reality, we're going to have consistent power cards till we have some of these projects coming on stream, right?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Assuming by May, June, July, we have sufficient rain.
Are you talking about this May, June, July?
Yes, when the rain starts.
But you can't predict nature, can you?
That is why.
And that would be very wrong for you to be predicting.
You see,
the power resurgency on what nature can predict.
I think that is why we are signing several agreements.
Don't you think that's a wrong strategy?
No.
It is not.
No.
All right. We have to end. We have to end our discussion this morning.
How do you increase? How do you increase?
We have to end our discussion.
How do you increase the power?
Just very quick.
How do you increase power?
Very good. Just very quickly. You see, he's talking of natural weather and something, and they use that to blame MPP and came to power. So he should close that.
Because it doesn't work. You have experienced it, and they are experiencing
two things, very quickly. Two things. First of all, immediate solution. We propose solutions. He's talking of transparency and openness and whatnot. I'm getting worried. We said, look, all the monies to Wayome, Suba, Sada, and everything can buy plants and generate.
But that's not true. I think you have to leave Suba out because on the front page of the Herald, it says that Suba did finally. Okay, my guests for the morning have been.
You talk about Suba,
member of Parliament for Damango constituency, Northern Region, and also Boniface Gambila is a member of Parliament for Nabdam constituency. But let me just put this to you: Boniface is a member of the MPP, and also Adam Mutawakilo is a member of the NDC. That's why they seem to argue on those very grounds. But in the meantime, though, we're taking a break. When we come back, we're talking a lot more about public speaking. And please do stay tuned.